What's up guys, Chief here with another video where we learn how to play Starcraft 2. So today we're going to talk about Zerg and we're going to talk about early game kind of decision making and different processes you can use to try to determine how to transition into the mid and late game with Zerg. There's a little bit of finesse to it. There's going to take a little bit of practice because it's very different than your other two races where you can kind of just follow a nice outlined build order. You have, different times that you need to do certain things by. You have different benchmarks that you follow through. Okay, by 8 minutes, I want to have 2 bases and X amount of supply. I know I'm doing well if I can do that. No, Zerg doesn't really play that way. You're going to offset a balance between being super greedy and getting a shit ton of drones to get a super strong economy, and then at the last minute making a whole crap ton of Zerg units to take out whatever attack is coming at you. That's generally how you want to try to play as Zerg. Very defensive. You want to know exactly what your opponent's doing at all times. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about ways that you can do that. Ways that you can set yourself up to make sure you know what the heck is going to happen in the middle and late parts of the game, right? So if we go into our little replay here, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the opening, guys. A couple things I want you to know. You're going to get up to about 15 supply, and you're going to make a decision. Do you want to get a hatch first? Or do you want to get a pool first? Hatch or pool? Hatch or pool? Hatch or pool? Hatch or pool? Those are the decisions you're going to make at this part of the game. Not too many, right? We're going to send out at about 1:30. Let's go back in. About 1:30 on the game clock. We're going to send out a little scout drone here. We're going to send him over to our opponent's base. We're going to decide, do we want to get a hatch first or a pool first? We're going to do that about 14 supply, 15 supply. Not a whole lot of a difference in that number. You can choose whichever one you like. As we can see, it looks like I'm deciding in this game that I want to get the hatch first. We're sending out the drone here to go build that. Right around 300, we're going to throw that down. There he goes. Lovely. So we've decided hatch first. Now what's dangerous about going hatch first is Zerg. The dangerous part of going hatch first is a very, very fast rush or attack. So something like from a Protoss, a Proxy 2 gate, or a Zealot early rush kind of attack would be very dangerous to somebody. A cannon rush would be very dangerous to somebody with a late pool, because you know that we put this hatchery down first. We don't have a pool back at home. Not yet. We can't make Zerglings. We can't defend very well. So to offset that, we need really good scouting information, and that's where this drone comes in. As you see, he's already almost halfway over, a little over halfway to the opponent's base. We're going to see what he's doing, and we're going to react to it. We've got our 2 overlords. Our first 2 overlords are positioning themselves. One is going to be going behind the main, and the other one's going to go behind their opponent's natural. You're going to scout information on the way over as they fly there, and they're also going to be sitting there for later in the game if you need to fly them in to check out on your opponent's base and see what they're doing at that point. So this is the most important thing, guys. Bind your drone scout to a hotkey. Be active with him. Look around your opponent's base. See what he's doing. If you get in here and you see like nothing from a Protoss, you're like, okay, there's no pylons, nothing. There's nothing in here. You know he's proxying you, right? So you can react accordingly to that. If you see a forge already down, he's probably cannon rushing you, right? There's different things. We're not going to talk a whole lot about what you see at this point and what it means. We're just going to notice that we're in here scouting, and that's the important part. We can get an idea of what's going on. That's all we really care about. Okay? So now we want to set up ourselves on a defensive posture to make sure we know what's going on. Okay? We want to see what our opponent's doing. So to do that, we're going to do some creep spread. We're going to do some creep spread, and that's one of the main reasons I chose to get this hatchery first over this one. You can see I'm going for an aggressive expansion here, a very fast 3 bases. That's something you can do. We're not going to talk about why or really what to do in that situation. But this is my first queen, and his very, very first spell is a creep tumor. I don't inject right away. You don't really need to on your first one, especially because you still see I have a lot of larvae here. I'm having difficulty using these larvae. So if you're at a point where you're floating a lot of minerals and you don't have larvae, yeah, you probably want to use an inject here instead of get your creep tumor started. But I made the decision to start my creep. That's going to give me better vision. Better vision. Get that started as soon as possible. We're going to start making it over towards our opponent so we can see what's going on. That'll give us vision. That's very important information. Very important information. And from here, it's kind of just standard macro stuff, guys. You're injecting on time. You're getting creep tumors out. You're spreading the creep out. you're getting overlords placed. This is a nice thing to do if you see like a high ground area. So like flying units have a 7 units of vision. So like this would be the 7th unit, but ground units only have 6. So you can actually see things before they see you. Like if there was a building right here on the very edge and I saw it, like a proxy pylon, I would see it, but they wouldn't see the overlord. So there's like interesting spots you can place overlords. And what I would suggest doing, guys, if you really are struggling with overlord placement, check out some pro replays. Check out some pros. Go to, you know, Team Liquid or something and get some replays and just watch where they put their overlords on each map. You can learn a lot from that. You can go, oh yeah, that's pretty fancy. Like something like it right here would probably be a good spot. Just little tricks you can pick up. Just little tricks. So here we are. We're spreading our creep. We're getting out some lings. We're taking the Zelnaga watchtowers. And if you look at the mini-map here, we've got some decent vision. As we continue on, again, we're not talking so much about exactly what's happening right here. Just staring at the mini-map, we notice we're spreading out our overlords. We're spreading out our overlords as well as we can. We're making our creep spread. We've got a Zergling out in front of our opponent's base. So we know if he's going to attack out. We know if he's going to attack out. Not so good against Protoss because they could have a proxy pylon hidden. But against Terran especially or other Zergs, you know exactly when they're leaving. So you can prepare yourself for that attack, right? So that's what we're generally trying to do in this early stage of the game. And that's really all I want to talk about, guys. Setting yourself up to react to what your opponent's doing. This is the setup stage. The early game of Zerg is about making sure you're ready to react to something. To react. You're going to read your opponent, find out what he's doing, and you're going to react to it. So this is a really nice, just basic thought process to set yourself up for that. So what did we learn here? What did we learn? We learned around 14 or 15 supply, right? You want to decide hatchery or spawning pool. Hatchery or spawning pool. Once you've decided that, you get the other one. So if you go hatch first, you need to get your pool after that. If you go pool first, you need to get your hatch after that. Generally speaking. You can do a 1 base play. I wouldn't recommend it. I would try to get up to 2 bases with your pool. You're going to want to get an extractor. Start your ling speed at 100 gas. Make sure you get your ling speed every game. You want that metabolic boost. It's really helpful for scouting. And early game lings are actually pretty dang good against a lot of bullshit. A lot of the stuff that you guys get thrown from your opponents, just to make a bunch of lings, you can usually take it out. It's pretty sweet. Lings are awesome. Couple spines, a bunch of lings, you'll be okay, right? But you need to know the attack's coming. You need to know if you need to make spines. You need to know what you need to do. And that's really what we're talking about here. So to do that, we're going to have good overlord placement. We're going to place our overlords all over the place on the map. Try to see what's going on, but we're not going to lose them. We don't want them to be in obvious spots so they'll get sniped out. If we end up supply capped, that sucks, right? We don't have to make 50 overlords at once. We want to have them hidden and spread out so we can use them to scout our opponent. We're going to spread our creep. That's really important. Make sure to get your creep spread started early. A good rule of thumb when you're spreading creep is every time you inject with your queens, go to your creep tumor and spread your creep forward. If you have trouble doing that, that's a great way to remember. Get in the habit. Okay, I'm macroing, so I'm going to inject, and now I'm going to spread my creep. That's all I really want to talk about, guys. We'll talk about more specifics in a later video, but this is just kind of a setup. A setup into the late game, or rather into the mid game, and being ready to react. If we go back again into our graphic, and I'm just going to fast forward a little bit through this replay, and I want you guys to look at the mini map right here. Right here. We have everything, right? We can see almost everything on the map. If we go to our actual vision, this is the vision that I had in this game. I can see almost everything, right? And that's super, super important. That's super important. If I needed to say, okay, I want to know exactly what he's doing, I can take this overlord and fly him straight over. I can take this overlord, kind of peek in a little bit, or fly him straight in. Otherwise, I have a ling. I know when he's going to move out. I'm reasonably sure there's no proxies anywhere near to me because I do have pretty good vision of this area. And my creep spread could be better, but it's good. It's pretty nice. If there's an attack coming in, to this natural, one of these bases, I'm going to see it before it gets there. I'm going to see it before it's at my front door, right? We're going to see it coming, and that's really what you want to do, guys. Get an idea of what your opponent's doing. Know what's coming. That's all we're going to talk about today. So from here, guys, if you have any questions about very specific things related to Zerg, I'm pretty knowledgeable with the Zerg, so feel free to ask and I can answer to the best of my ability. Otherwise, guys, look forward to more videos. I do make one video a day. I'm going to do that for the near future just to get out as much content as possible. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, guys, so if you have any suggestions or criticism or comments, anything like that, leave them below. Leave them below, guys. I'll get to them. Otherwise, have a great day. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.